And hello, you beautiful bastards, and welcome to my so-called show. And Admiral Teague, you can't hear my fan in the background, can you?
No, but I have to go turn off my speakers, so keep talking.
Yeah, if that's okay, because the fan's on because it's fucking boiling and it's really hot, and I'm kind of hungover a little bit, which actually does feel very appropriate for this episode because it does basically start with our heroes pretty much fucked up from a good load of drinking, which I'm all for. And plus, we're through the semi-final, so England got a semi, so so there's a reason that I did too many scotches last night. And a Kung Fu hot dog.
Congratulations to the mother country.
Yeah, no, fucking hell. Let's hope we can finally get to the final after 60 years since our last win. Our last World Cup win. Yeah. Yeah, we won we won the World Cup fucking 60 years ago, and we've been pretty much embarrassing ourselves these last few decades. So let's hope.
You know what?
Come on.
Take a lesson from your American cousins. It's not that you haven't won in 60 years. It's that the last legitimate cup was 59 years ago, and it's been rigged ever since, except for the time the Americans won.
Oh, yeah, I mean, as much as I support my country, it has become very politicized. It's become more for the fucking enterprises and the corporations, blah, 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 and all that stuff. And definitely, they're even threatening to arrest anyone who calls Keir Starmer a W anchor. And I was like, fuck off. Yeah, there really was. Anyone starts chanting Starmer's a wanker gets arrested. But so far, I've not seen anything. So, yeah, I do apologize.
I want to thank the officials for getting Americans into the World Cup. Suddenly, football, and I mean American football, baseball loving Americans are all passionate about, I guess we stepped on somebody's foot and they're upset. Like something about like the guy got carded or whatever it was in the rules. So there's people were saying it was cheating to get the penalty reversed. But from what I understand, those penalties get reversed all the time. And the team that was in Argentina, like, it's not our fault that you suck. I mean, you should be able to survive having someone step on your fucking foot. Look, if they don't even wear spikes, they're turf shoes.
Oh, yeah, if we go against Argentina, that'll be like the 80s again, won't it, with the Falklands.
Called the Falklands rematch. We're going to send, we should send Prince Andrew to have him land a helicopter with with their team in it. That'll get them there safely.
Yep. So onto this episode, the Home Invaders. Much after the very comedic Made for Each Other, this is a lot more darker as well. And the fact it's directed by Abel Ferrara really shows. This is a really good, moody, sort of like much more dark episode with some very good harsh shadows as well. I mean, we see the cop actually doing a lot of like analytic stuff, trying to analyze and deduct what's where the burglars are going to hit next. And I really like that. I love the investigation. I love the conflicts between Malone and Castillo as well, because because Malone is kind of like becoming a bit of burnt out as well, and he's refusing to see that. He just wants to do he's just a guy who wants to do his job, and that's it. And we've got I've got the actor's name. Where is he? Who plays him? He's been in tons of movies, though.
David Patrick Kelly, the Home Invader.
No, not David Kelly. The guy who plays Malone, Crockett's mentor. Yeah,
recognizable name. I while you look that up, I'll just say
Jack Kehoe, if I'm pronouncing his name right. He's been in loads. He's been in loads. Serpico, The Sting, Midnight Run. He's a very good, well-known actor. He's the Untouchables as well. He's the fucking bookmaker in the Untouchables. I can't believe I've just remembered that right now. It's
if you think about this, right, you can see that the nexus of American crime production, and I might be able to hear your speaker in the background. That might be a StreamYards issue. I can't tell. But you know what? As you look at like American crime TV and American crime movies, to make a consistently quality crime show, like what we've noticed. How many weeks has the bad guy or the milieu around the bad guy not contained a whole lot of New York accents? It seems like American crime TV runs out of New York. This show is still casting out of New York, and it has.
Because you mentioned, I think you mentioned this before a little bit as well, because a lot of people were coming down to Miami because it was like the drug capital of the world. This was like a great place to try and start your own little enterprise. So maybe, but that is one thing that confused me. I mean, all these coppers that are working on the burglary case come from Chicago or New York because they're already working in Miami.
the captain has a very strong New York accent. Captain Malone, he's like XNYPD or something. It's shocking to me how this episode is trying to have it ways. I don't blame Abel Ferrara. Hello, Davy Dread. You know what? Honestly, this episode tries to have it both ways in a way that usually I always feel undercuts the overall episode. The overall episode's still quite good. They knew the right director. We understand from our research that Philip Michael Thomas is a little messed up, so they don't want him on the set. They want him to recover. Last time
give him some kind of like exposition, don't they? They basically dump a
he's
bit
in
of
New York
on,
hanging out with Valerie.
Yeah. So lucky him. I mean,
they did, but usually you would get a phone call where he'd be like, "Yeah, I know a guy, Sonny," and he'd be like talking, like you'd see him like gesturing off screen to like all his homeboys in New York, and just he'd be at like Studio 54. You know what I mean? Like, this is Miami Vice. Like, they just needed their actor to get a week off, and his traits and his dialogue get like as we were saying, mostly given to Sonny, because Lieutenant Castillo is just it's like, no, I won't speak. It's his thing.
I think there was one line which we will touch on later that I do think was originally tough, but they gave it to Castillo. It's a little bit more at the end, but we will touch on it. But
I think another one, he gets pithy, right? Yeah, it does for a moment.
It does kind of like lead some questionable things, like the masks they wear. I mean, they're wearing women's tights. You can still see their faces.
I identified David Patrick Kelly immediately.
I know.
I was like, it's Sully. It's Sully from freaking from Commando. Oh my God. Yeah. Only the greatest villain from the most fantastic movie of the entire 1980s, starring the greatest actor of all time next to William Shatner.
Yeah, who's got yeah, you fucking whore for rejecting me.
I love that part. And then like 2 minutes later, you're seeing like classy Sully, who's calling women names, doesn't even have a quarter. Give me a quarter. Give me a quarter. He needs change to make the phone call. It's like, high roller Sully. I'm going out drinking with no money in his pocket. But get better masks. The featureless human mask that somebody used for the crime spree in Manhattan recently, that'll hide your features. That was extra creepy. This was like, it wasn't LOL, but after like 5 seconds, I'm like, that looks like David Patrick Kelly. And he's like, shut the fuck up. And I'm like, that's David Patrick Kelly. All right.
Yeah, I know. It's like, crack it, come to play.
His New York accent is, I don't know if he's New York. I haven't ever researched him. His career continues. He is fantastic as former president, then president Harry S. Truman in the movie Flags of Our Fathers. So Clint saw his talent. The guy was a solid actor. He was underused in this. We could have, if they were going to try to get away from the fact that we needed to lampshade that one of our leads was gone, we should have gone more into the criminal intent side of this, to borrow a term from Law and Order. Like a little bit more, like we do get their planning, we do get some of that stuff, but it's the other guy. It's the guy who works as a valet who's doing their casing that we follow around.
Morales.
He does a great job, and we've seen Morales around for years later. It's good cast.
He's more fucking unhinged than David Kelly in this, isn't he? I mean, David Kelly acts pretty unhinged, but Isaiah Morales' character, I mean, he's full on. He's a full on psychopath. He's willing to take the big risks, and he shags prostitutes, then kicks the fuck out of them. I mean, damn, he's a piece of work, this guy.
And he's got like a super high criminal IQ, because when they try to bait him, he fucking spots Trudy right away. He's like, the diamond ring, zooms in on it. She drives up with the most expensive, unreliable car of the entire 1980s, a car so bad it makes American cars look good, the Mercedes Sports Coupe. So he's like, oh, she doesn't give a shit about money. Yeah. She even has a car that you need an extra car to own.
Yep. And David Patrick Kelly is from Detroit, apparently. Originally from Detroit. So
Detroit, until around 1990, 95,
maybe.
was considered East Coast. No, I believe that. Here's the thing, though. Detroit and Michigan are considered somewhat East Coast. It's still on Eastern time. That's as far west as you can go, and it be the same time as it is in New York. So their accents aren't as far away from ours as people in Chicago, which is weird because they're a little further away.
Yeah, because they are referenced to being from Chicago originally, aren't they? So all just are well known a lot more in Chicago.
They don't have Chicago accents, though. They don't sound like they're eating pork sausages all day.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hello, John
Jonathan,
the
Dad.
Beagle Dad. How you doing? So yeah, please
Happy
subscribe to our
Sunday.
boutique. So, yeah, please
Oh,
subscribe to our boutique. I'm
John's a
listening.
friend of mine.
Yeah.
He's a longtime
Oh
subscriber
yeah.
and an original supporter, and a big fan of Miami Vice. So.
I know. And that's what we do this for. We do this for fans because we're big fans of this show as well. It's so I know
You
this
gotta
starts off.
love it to skip your
Yeah.
night at the pub to do Miami Vice at 1 o'clock in the afternoon in America.
I know, and
This is an
a little
afternoon
earlier
show in
as well. I
America.
mean, because I had fuck all else to do, so I thought let's go on a little early. Why not? And so this is a
On
really
an
good.
episode like this where you're chomping at the bit to talk about how they're able to craft an interesting story with a dearth of material. What we have here is a script intended for other characters being like well repurposed, and they got the best director. This guy does atmospheric so well.
He does.
And the
He does. I mean, you watch.
gloominess of this episode.
Yeah, no, you watch like Bad Lieutenant and King of New
That's his
York. I
best
mean,
movie.
fucking hell. I mean, he can do the whole noir thing as well, and he's good at doing the nihilism. But for something directed by Abel Ferrara, this is not really that nihilistic. I mean, it does have a bit of a bittersweet ending, but it's still kind of
I believe he was helicoptered in to change the tone and mood to buy runtime because this is a good story and I enjoyed all of it, but it's not very fast paced. It is not a lot of story. It's stretched as it doesn't go too thin. But if they had thinned it out just even a little tiny bit more, we're talking quality issues. It doesn't hit that level, but we can see the damage control and we can see the adjustments because we're fans of this show and we now have like 80 episodes under our belt over the course of these watches. So
we are coming pretty close to the end of series
right?
1, and this is very
proper
very,
experts
very,
at this point.
Yeah, and this is a very brief opening as well because basically it's just these people, getting on with their day, and then these robbers come in, and then they start acting aggressive towards the woman, trying to make her swallow the flowers, and you don't see anything else. I mean,
they're a little extra crazy, like the heat robbers, right? They have one guy in them as a loose cannon. I want to ask you a question. As far as the home invasion goes, I don't know if you know this, but for our audience, this is like a new phenomenon in America. All right. This is pre-New Jack City. The idea that people would just come into your home. Burglary is considered the worst crime next to murder in America. In fact, most of the specialized police departments that have specialization have what's called robbery homicide as its own division because homicide and robbery are considered very closely related. Once you do one, you're on your way to the other. So this is a promotion for Crockett and Tubbs, and it's proven that their captain is a better their lieutenant is a better investigator and a better lieutenant than the robbery homicide guy who's supposed to be like your green. Well, in America, we would call him your green beret. In England, I guess you call it your spec ops. One of your very best guys. And what happens is there's immediate loggerheads, but they're having it both ways. We have very good specialized police departments, and I'll put a bow on my point here. How come no one works night shift? Why do they keep bankers hours in the Vice squad where most of the Vice happens at night?
Yeah, no, that's a very questionable thing anyway. Yeah, that's a very
Where's
questionable
the third
thing.
shift? Where's our third shift of detectives?
Where's all the other police officers? Where's the other police officers that are probably working the shifts while they're out getting drunk and
what saves this? Can I save this scene for you real quick? How about this? Don't change anything, but have Trudy walk in with a pot of coffee and one line where she just says like, somebody has to work the lobster over here. So you know what? Here's some coffee for you daybirds or whatever, because like just showing that they had coverage there, that it was a 24-hour police department. It's like, yeah, we take care of all the vice in this town that happens between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. I mean, what kind of cops are you?
Yeah. Yeah, and they're all fucking they're probably still suffering from their night as well, but the timing is bad.
It's Saturday night out where most vice happens. They should never have this night off ever. They should never ever have this night off.
Yeah, the work of a policeman never sleeps, that's the thing. But
except in this department.
Yeah, so this is where we found out through an exposition Dumplat Tubbs is now in New York, shagging Valerie's the lucky bastard. So and then Castillo comes in
them feet together.
Yeah. Oh fuck. We'll touch on that when we get to that episode.
Too. I can't wait for
that. That is a weird one. The sex scenes in these shows, the sex scenes in these shows are very, very weird, aren't they? I mean,
they've got to be deeply inventive. I got to give like hats off to finding a not overly gross and not overly uncommon hang up. Like people do find feet and footwear attractive. So like the footlock of, I guess, what we would call two well-cast feet to show the sex between Valerie and Tubbs. It was actually decent eroticism with the amount of music. It got the idea across tastefully. I mean, we had to do it. It was inventive.
Yeah, you can see Quentin. You can probably get the idea that Quentin Tarantino was creaming his fucking Levi's watching that scene. It's
Jackie Brown became a movie while he saw that episode. He started writing the script immediately. He's like, "Woman has amazing feet, must have."
Yeah, I'm gonna adapt Rum Punch, by Elmore Leonard, and then I'm gonna change it to the Back Chick, and I'm gonna have Foxy Brown in there in the role.
You familiar with that Miami Vice episode called Brothers Keeper, Valerie? I mean, Jackie. I mean, Foxy.
Yeah. And to mention something earlier that Teague said, there's been a few times where I call the duo Crockett, Sonny and Crockett, and I'm like, fucking hell, really?
Hell yeah. Sometimes he makes the same mistake I make. I'll say like something like the captain and Picard beam down, which makes no sense. And your verbal glitches, instead of saying Crockett and Tubbs, he'll say Sonny and Crockett.
Yeah,
we've been working on quality control to bring you a tighter, better broadcast. This one, we're going to be a little looser and more entertaining in general. We'll still probably bring it in the same amount of time. There's not a lot of substance here, which gives us time to do things like correct the record, get questions from all of you, and we please leave questions in the comments afterwards. We love those.
Yeah, we'll try. Yeah, we'll try our best to
all
answer them. Yeah,
we
will try our best to answer them.
Northern's going to be looking. We'll respond to all of them. And, here's a correction that I did some research on. I don't know if I mentioned this last week. Sonny is not wearing Varnays. He actually is wearing Wayfarer tortoiseshell Wayfarers by Ray-Ban.
Yeah, I think you mentioned that last
lenses.
Week.
Okay, sorry. It's actually an important detail in this show because here we see him dressed great. He's ready to play rhythm guitar for Duran Duran.
Yeah, look at him as well. He's got his fucking gun belt, sort of like his gun suspenders, his holster, sort of.
He's a
hanging
rat.
off him all right. Yeah, he's really drunk out of his skull here as well. But
like the captain should tell him to put his fucking weapons down till he's like, Crockett, have some coffee and put your weapon down. So that I would have appreciated because he's a wreck. He's waving his gun around and gesturing a lot of this episode.
Yeah. So yeah, this is where they hear about the burglaries as well, and that they're being put onto this detail, and he mentions Malone as well, and Sonny's face just lights up, and he's like, "Yeah, Malone, tell me everything I knew." So and it kind of gets straight to the point in this episode as well. It doesn't sort of like piss about or anything like that, and he does mention something about Zito doing the Hernandez case, and I'm trying to think, wait, is that from a previous episode? I forgot now.
I think they just chose a generic enough name. The Hernandez case just said it could be like, that's like the third most common name in all of Miami. And I honestly, they're like, I think there's a good possibility because Philip Michael Thomas was hurt that they wanted to try to go double down. They're like, our star's out. We can actually get a little more work done with less actors to write for. Let's compress these episodes. Let's go fast. And again, these last two episodes, it's not that it was, missed opportunities. The pacing didn't allow for it. What we saw was episodes where we could revisit things that we did before, like just not exploring a certain arc. We could reimpose that arc on another story. There was a lot more meat last week on the bone for Made for Us than we really followed up on. This week, we're going to do it again as far as we will show them with teamwork, but like we're working hard to make out. At this point, 2 episodes with Philip Michael Thomas having only one line is starting to build up. Like we don't realize this, but his performances do a lot to shore up everyone else. Like he's supposedly a leading man on this, but I think he has a lot of supporting experience or he's just extremely versatile. He does a fantastic job of adding believability to everything. So at this point, I think it falls to Zito to be the believable, more grounded guy. And his thing is just, he's a little cynical in a playful way.
And he's really annoyed by these prostitutes that just will not answer the questions or play along. And he's like, the point of this is to identify the person who recently hit you. I love how he emphasizes recently as well. Like, because she's probably, he knows that she's had a good fucking load of kicking from some crazy bastards in their time. So
they've been too street smart. They've led with it. These are able for rare enhanced hookers. these sex workers in this episode, they're in charge of their own fate. There doesn't seem to be anybody running their business. There are more people off the bus from New York or Chicago who just decided people down here are kind of dumb and this police department doesn't work hard enough to catch us. And hey, with only 8 hours of vice enforcement a day, 5 days a week, all you got to do is work around that 35 hours. You're okay. But they are world weary, and this is the first time we ever saw a world weary comment from always upbeat and constantly optimistic and always pragmatic Zito. He was just like, you know what? Like, we got a job to do. That was a frustrated Sonny line that he got, is my opinion.
Yeah, probably is as well. And so, yeah, obviously we hear about the injuries that the Beglers have caused them as well. You know, they used electrical burns on the woman. So, yeah, it raises the stakes as well. These aren't just like some small-time invaders. No, these are full-on loons that need to be stopped. You know, they're harming innocent people just for no reason at all. So
the brief opening segment was so brutal. Maybe we didn't make enough of it just to get us all to the same exact spot as after the credits hit, as we really get our story running, because we're talking about the opening segment, the credits go by, and the opening cop segment. We don't open with our cops. We open with our crime. It's chilling. It's brutal. They've got gats to right to people's heads. They're threatening them. They're like, where's the buddy? There's some ritualization and toying with the victim going on, stuff that you see in Heat with the serial killer character who's got the problems. This was really good, but it was so fast and so intense. It was very atypical of Abel Ferreira, who likes to have more ethereal scenes. This one was like, look, we got to push the needle on the action, then we'll go cerebral. So the opening sequence was so brutal that it actually justifies all the rest of this, including hungover Sonny playing with his gun like it's a TV remote.
Yeah, I mean, there is some kind of lapses in logic, especially the masks that are the victims are unable to identify them. And it's like, listen, I could see a Saya Morales for his fucking ladies' sites. It's But
to be fair, we've spent a lot more time admiring David Patrick Kelly than they ever have. Like, we're just like, oh, Sully, don't mess with Arnie. He understands gravity and you don't. So, I mean, this is a great actor. And I think I need to point out to our audience, those who don't know, and I think most do, Sully from Commando is one of the top 5 heel actors of all time. And he's one of the top 5 heel actors of the 70s because the Warriors is like 79. David Patrick Kelly cranks out like 5 memorable creep performances. Dreamscape, Time After Time. He's great in a lot of these. He's not in Time After Time. That's David Warner. Sorry, Dreamscape. He's great in a lot of movies. He is an up-and-coming, really good villain character. And he has no imposingness. He's a very small, slight guy. So he's a lot about slapping guns to people's heads and being unhinged. And unfortunately, we didn't get enough time with him with the gears grinding of his insanity because we could have done more with that. We had too much.
He shows a little bit of insanity, but at the same time, he shows to be a little bit more rational, doesn't he? Because he's a little bit skeptical about taking on these big risk jobs as well because he's been in jail. He doesn't want to go back. But when we get on to there's something else on there that I was supposed to mention as well. So apparently there was something about what's the MO, and it kind of varies. So whether these Beglers are, you know, they've kind of found a way to sort of still evade capture. You know, they're shown to be smart because, and this is a pretty nice moment as well. We see a little bit of history with Sonny and these guys. You know, they even they take the piss out of him for his pastel suits and everything. It's like, hey, what about you? You know, you don't have to just because you're a big time doesn't mean you have to look like you're going to a funeral. And you know, they kind of break each other's balls, and it's very sweet. And once again, you can tell
logical. Think about it. He is griping up, as they say in Private Ryan, at the homicide cops who are more prestigious. Remember, he was once one of them, and he ended up in Vice. So there's an untold story about how Sonny like mishandled evidence and didn't show up in time, or killed one too many people at the bus. Like, he did something to get kicked off homicide, or Vice was just that much of a mess that they needed a top cop.
They mentioned that he had a bit of a drinking problem, didn't they? When he was working homicide, and it kind of he sort of like
divorce related.
And I think and I think he did a little bit of misconduct as well. And that was Tubbs that got the misconduct thing. So yeah, they bumped him down to Vice, and you know, he's been there ever since. And you know,
you could get into Vice just for having an affair on your wife as a police officer because it could make you compromisable at this point in history.
Yeah, no, Vice is
Malone.
Yeah, Vice is where they put you when you fuck up. I mean, they do it even in LA Confidential. Kevin Spacey gets knocked down to Vice because he kind of got involved in the scuffle in the jail cells, didn't he?
It's an overhyped thing now, because remember, this is the very beginning in America and probably worldwide of specialized police detachments. My dad was NYPD and he was just a detective. Whatever case came across his desk, if it was Vice, he worked Vice. If it was murder, he worked murder. He did prostitution cases as much as he did major cases like Son of Sam, because it was just fell like one of the crimes happened in their precinct area, so his detective division gets swept up in it too. So these big city police forces don't operate the way we see in Miami. Although it looks like robbery homicide works 24/7, doesn't it? It's much more overstaffed. They have a busier office. They intentionally get them a bigger soundstage to make it look like a more professional op. Their captain looks as professional as Castillo. He's ready to go toe to toe. And this is where we see something that is more. Was this a line from Crockett that was grandfathered over, where he was going to say things are slipping around here if this is the best he can do? Because Castillo looks at the paperwork. Everyone's having good expositional dialogue. There's buddy energy between Crockett and his old mates. But as to say to our British friends, as I try not to cause any controversy by speaking as an American, he's talking to his old mates and having a good time. But as we look, we see Castillo is starting to almost throw up in his mouth. And when the conversation turns to business, he's like, "This is all you got? I want to know, like, these guys have a he's like, from what I can tell here, from your minimal work and half-assed effort, these guys have a highly organized attack system. These attacks have a lot more related to them than you guys have been able to pick up on. I see several common denominators that should have been run down and either continued to be checked on or ruled out. I want to know how these people know each other. And why do you hand me this piece of garbage paper with nothing? Why are you giving me why do I have nothing to work with? I was called back to a higher division. I run Vice because I used to work for the DA. I am a top investigator. I am respected. And the two things about this that don't make sense are, how come robbery homicide sucks at what they do and there's more professionalism in Vice? This flips the script on what we're told to believe. And two, how come Lieutenant Castillo doesn't know the head of the other and most major and this guy's doing press conferences twice a week. Like, we have investigated and followed up on the murder. We've got our murdered police officer, and we don't not trust these Vice cops so much that we're not bringing them back to the top division. They're robbery homicide until the rest of this, but their commanding Vice officer pulls out clout and probably calls his friends at the DA's office to be like, there's something wrong with Malone. He sucks. He sucks. This work sucks. You don't bring in a top investigator and not give him anything to work with. You don't bring in your top bloodhound and not give him a rag to sniff. That's what they did to Castillo, and he scoffs at it. And he we
kind of see the little bit of rivalry as well, and the confliction between his loyalty to Malone as well, his mentor, and his latest lieutenant Castillo, who was kind of helped him through a lot of shit. Yeah, he's
contemptuous of these cops. He's like, "What the hell is wrong with robbery homicide in this town?"
He starts off that way, doesn't he? But he does kind of
pissed.
He does.
At the end of the episode, I have some thoughts of how things end up with Malone. That I think that maybe Marty went heavier on him, and we just don't hear about it. I think he called the boss, and he's like, "This guy sucks." He has contempt for him. He has contempt. They're only on the same page when he knows that this guy's not going to be a problem anymore. I mean, but we'll get to that later, though.
Oh, well, I kind of saw that. He was putting his differences aside, and because I think Malone does kind of see that. He is burning out, and as well, like, he used to be a good cop, and for some reason he's now slipping. He's fucking up majorly bad. He's overlooking. He's not really giving in the details that seems to be something that you do on a regular. When you regularly, something that's
he's not asking enough from his officers.
Yeah,
they're supposed to be elite, and he's just coasting on the idea they'll give him elite work. He hasn't checked up on them in a while, so their work has slipped. And let me say hello to our friend PBE Ellipse. Hello, Montreal.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Thank you for William Shatner. We love him so much. We owe you so much for William Shatner. It's a shame TJ Hooker kept him off this show. He would have been a great mayor of Miami or major criminal.
Yeah, so this is the bit anyway where they are going through the information, but like you said, there's barely anything as I well. What about local burglaries? I mean, are you gonna see if they have any alibis for the night these robberies were going off
Yeah,
on? And it sounds like a very simple thing as well, especially asking what time they came in and how long they were in the house, and because it seemed like they're on the clock, and he knows like these are working with professionals, and it's
he's
mentioned earlier as
pissed.
well. And it's
He's
mentioned
also not.
earlier with
Well,
Malone saying, have you ever worked on a robbery before? And he's like, no, but he's like, well, we need all the help we get. But and he turns out to still be the best because he's still analyzing the patterns of these burglars. He is. He's still
yeah,
analyzing the patterns and their routines and how they work, like he would do with a serial killer, which he has done. He knows
Captain
how to think like a
Lieutenant
criminal. Mm.
Lieutenant Castillo is deeply underpromoted, and he has absolutely no respect for Lieutenant DEI here. The reason this works is one white cop there's no woke yet, folks. Think about how like on the money this is as far as the way they balance it. There's no one is a bad person in this. The black captain, he hasn't done enough work. The white captain, he's burned out too. He hasn't done enough work. They get called out by Castillo. So he's able to go toe to toe with any other minority and call him out as a loser. And he's got the same rank as the head of the homicide bureau. And he's just like, look, you're supposed to be homicide. You hand me this garbage. What do I get back to me tomorrow when your guys have done their work? You need some door knocking. Police Department Procedure 101 wasn't done by your guys. I don't find any excuse in it. And he scoffs at him. And if you notice, Sonny's ex-partner doesn't look as disapproving as everyone else.
He still kind of idolizes Malone, isn't he? He still sees him as his father figure that taught him everything, and he's like, "Come on, Malone can't be that. He can't be slipping. Come on, this guy taught me everything I know. I'm here."
Benny taught him what he knew.
Yeah.
Actually, the guy he's sitting next to, Benny, taught him everything he knew. But Malone was his first lieutenant, so he has hero worship for them. But if you notice, because Benny is supposed to be the one who's most like Crockett. Sonny, you see how he's supposed to be like Crockett plus 20 years, you know what I mean? And maybe a hard life. But Benny and Crockett kind of exchange knowing looks and look back at Lieutenant Castillo. And like everybody in the room except Benny and Crockett are upset at Castillo's tact. They're shocked that he's going so strong, but the look, and I think that Benny does some good acting here. I interpreted the look on his face as, I remember when every captain acted like this, or I remember when my lieutenant acted this way. We needed some of this. We'll get this crime solved faster because of this. Because when he looks at Sonny, it's not with dismay. It's kind of with like, all right, you bought the right guy. You bought the right guy to the show.
But once again, he's got the confliction as well. He's still trying to stick up for him a little bit as well. But and that's when it comes in, because he does start to see because it kind of ends up becoming something that he's going to reflect on later as well, which we will get to. But this is where we start to see how the
job, right? He's conflicted. He immediately defends his old superior as a good guy, and he's not lying. This guy's a great guy, sir. He never misses his kid's birthday. He loves his wife. He's a great fucking guy. He's never taken his time in dirty money.
And he still sort of like supports him. He's like, I think he can still turn this around. Give him a chance, cutting some slack a little bit, but he still knows he has to stand up to his own mentor as well, because he is fucking up and he knows Castillo is right. And once again, I love seeing criminals. I love seeing smart criminals do stuff like this, where you can really see they are doing their homework. They are strategizing, the planning, everything. They're looking for opportunities, way in, flaws, vulnerable spots, everything. It's what kind of risks they are.
They're a good match for if you want to think about it. They have criminal IQ and ability on par with Zito and Switek. They've got their own little tricked out van. It's filled with their own little gear to do their weird little job for. Like, these are like almost perfect rivals. Did they not line up the bad guys with the good guys for made for each other? Because they're better rivals for Switek and Zito, because they're kind of like them. They're pretty good, but they're not Crockett and Tubbs level yet. They're not there.
Yeah, no, and I'm trying to get this actor's name up. Where is he? Fucking hell. He's on King of New York as well, isn't he? He's one of Paul Calderon. That's him. Paul Calderon. Yes. And he shows up later, doesn't he, on season 3 as one of the drug dealers who gets robbed by that drug addicted actor.
Yes.
Yes.
Really quick. I want to say the one biggest disappointment about this. How do I say this without giving it away? And then I'll shut up and let you get on with the plot because we have a good.
Yeah, we'll reveal it later then once we get to it. But yeah, this is where they start arguing. Yeah, he's like the one who is kind of like a little less psychotic, but he's still complicit, isn't he? And Asaya Morales is really fucking enjoying it way too much. He's like, hey, let's do this big job. Screw the risks. We should get the big bucks during the risks. And he's like, no, I'm not. Listen, I'm not going back to Yale, okay? We'll try something else. And so he's kind of like the leader as well, isn't he? He's basically the guy who is seems to be, he seems to show the smarts to actually lead these people. But Asaya Morales' character is very...
They also, we never seen him this cleaned up. They blew out his hair. They gave him some kind of slick clothes. They made him into a Miami Vice villain. We haven't seen this. Like, this is the first time we see him like this. He'll show up in Commando with a great shark skin suit and be asleep.
Yeah, no, he's got that. He's got those fucking Gibson shoes as well. He's got the zoot suit. He looks like a proper 80s fucking sleazebag with shirtman syndrome.
Yeah, a woman half his age.
That's what I was getting from him as well. Whenever he plays villains, they always seem to have the short man sort of syndrome kind of thing going on, don't they? That's what I always get from his villains. He's overly
eager on the gun. This guy, this particular bad guy, their point man, this is what I wanted to say before. I'll get it out of the way. I really hope that we don't. I was glad that it wasn't who. Well, I was let down when it wasn't who I thought it was. He resembles the henchman from the movie License to Kill, who falls into the cocaine chunking machine. I don't want to say his real name. I'm not saying his name.
Benicio del Toro.
You got it. I hate when you get it right because things like John Leguizamo is just too funny. I wanted to give you that chance, but
I'll pronounce it wrong. Okay, I'll call him Benicio del Toro then, just to sort of like even things out a bit. But he's on the same Miami Vice. But he's on the same Miami Vice episode that Nicky Calderon shows up on later as well, but doesn't he? He's one of the actor's friends. He's one of the actor's buddies.
He's the primary bad guy's son in one episode too, right? He comes back in return of
John Leguizamo is he's like Calderon's son, isn't he? Yeah.
We get Del Toro in here somewhere too.
Yeah, you can say it Latin, you can say it Italian, like Leguizamo or Leguizamo.
I love when you say Leguizamo, and what always goes through my mind is, I don't get it. It's a European name.
I know. Well, that's John Leguizamo. That's John Leguizamo for you because he can't make up his mind whether he's Italian or Latin. So
here's the thing: he's John Leguizamo when he's being normal and keeping his mouth shut, but when he's acting like an idiot, he's John Leguizamo. What do you think of that?
I know. Yeah, he's a fucking tit. But now they're trying to get some answers from this woman, and is like, well, one guy looks like the asshole from Commando, but I couldn't tell because he was wearing tights on his head. Oh yeah, this is like a year before Commando, so he looked like the asshole from the Warriors. But I couldn't tell because he was wearing ladies' tights, and even though his face was visible. But yes, I'd say the piss.
And American moviegoers could tell. Like, I knew it was him. I was like, oh wow, it's awesome, it's him. I think they wanted us to know it was him. I feel like they wanted us to know. They don't try too hard to obscure his identity. Other people, they do better jobs. The worst thing done. I mean, they menace the folks. They break into this house. They put guns on people. They menace them. They talk shit. They demean them. They ritualize the crime scene. They're a little bit insane on top of having a money motive. They're into like really demeaning and scaring the shit out of the people. So this is getting under the skin of these guys who, although they run a part-time department, they do want to be good guardians, and they'll show up at night to go after the bad guys. So this offends, most importantly, Lieutenant Castillo. He's like, no one does this to people on our beat, Sonny. They have a right to be. They shouldn't be scared, Sonny. Like, that's what's going on with him, I believe.
Yeah, but I love the questions they're asking as well. Is there anything about the way they walk, the way they talk? Did they say any kind of thing that was remember? Was there anyone who seemed very, very off recently, the last few days? You know, all that stuff as well. Because he has worked these kind of cases where people are traumatized and he has to hunt someone because that's what he is. He's a soldier, isn't he? You know, he's done like these fucking big these secret government missions, everything in like the most war-torn countries. You know, he's got that.
It seems like
he's got like shadow hanging over him, isn't he? You know, he's a guy that's that's pretty much become self-aware about his shadow and has completely accepted it and uses it. And
he's going to use it for good. Yeah. You know what? Here's the thing. Lieutenant Castillo is a little hard to pin down because they don't get specific. He ends up doing some sort of espionage work on behalf of our government on some level, but he's in the Vietnam, Southeast Asia area at the same time Sonny's there fighting in Vietnam, and even maybe before and after. And all he gives us is, I worked with the DA. Now, that could mean that he was the DA's man following the distribution of the heroin up the chain, or that could simply mean that he was already military intel or CIA when he cooperated with the Miami DA. And he's like, now that my military time's over, what job would you offer me? Because he's overqualified. He's overqualified for this.
Yeah, no, because he's a full-on fucking, especially when he knows how to wield a fucking katana or samurai sword. I mean, he's way overqualified as well in that department.
He's got so many great skills. He can do martial arts. He understands voodoo. He knows when to call off an investigation because the magic was real. No, Sonny, this was real. I saw the chicken blood myself.
But sadly, they don't seem to have anything to go on. And then we get that really cool, haunting clues by Jan Hammerwall. And once again, this feels very Abel Ferreira, these harsh shadows, the night streets, the very noirish feel, everything. You know, you got Sonny going out trying to, put the squeeze on any informants or any former burglaries, anything like that. And he's just looking for all the details. He's like fucking Johnny Five, just scanning every single detail in those files. He is.
This is what happened is Castillo now has a little more material to work with.
I know.
And even the scraps they gave him, he's starting to put things together because he's so damn good. But yeah,
and I love this as well. I love Sonny's kind of being a bit more of the irrational sort of hard-nosed gumshoe in a way, isn't he? While Castillo is being the guy who just analyzes things, isn't he? The more calm and collected, much more by the book kind of cop.
It's Tubbs on Valium. I thought this lady was all right looking. I don't know what he's getting at. She's a cutie. She's a real cutie.
Oh yeah, but she's got a fucking bit of sass on her as well. So the call for Benny and I forgot this actor's name, but Beverly Hills Cop, man. You know, if you want someone to play a fucking loudmouth Italian, you need.
I think it's Frank Pesci. Guy. Frank Pesci.
Yeah, it's like fucking Joe Pesci in a way, isn't he? It's like
no, I think his actual name is Frank Pesci, like with an E.
Wait, oh no, is he? Oh, let's have a look.
I looked at the IMDb. There's a Frank Pesci in there.
I thought it was Frank Pesci then for a second.
No, it's not exactly the same. But my impression is this. It's very possible Joe Pesci changed the spelling of his last name to make it more pronounceable and literate. And this guy didn't want to like live in his brother's shadow. Because if you told me they were brothers or cousins, I would absolutely believe you. He has very similar energy, except that he's not as wired. He is in the cop's face. By the way, very American reaction to law enforcement overreach. He knows his rights. He's lawyered up and he's yelling at the cops because he has the money to do it. If he was broke, he'd just be sitting there saying, "What can I do, sir?" Honestly.
I know. I like the fact that they berate him a little bit as well because he kind of seems like he would have been the number one suspect, but apparently it turns out that he's not really, and they don't really get fuck all from him, do they? So they send someone to escort them out, but Sonny makes sure he balls it up.
That was weird that you would send security to push the cops out.
I know.
You tell the cops you're off their jurisdiction and you start recording them. You don't flex with your own security. I love his lavender tie, but this guy is like, as you said, like, I guess the deal with him is he knows a lot of real awful people, but he's not one of them. Like, he's not great, but he's he's
just an asshole. That's it. He's just a fucking asshole. That's it.
But he's not predatory and he's not as mean as some of the people around him. And the thing to remember here is Sonny knows a lot of real shitty people too, and he's not the worst guy.
Yeah. So, but they don't get fuck all from him anyway, so it's kind of like another dead end, isn't it? I mean, he tries to reason with him a little bit, Castillo does, because that's him as well. He's trying to play things a little bit calm, isn't he? He's not the slick, sort of like irrational, smooth talker like Sonny is he? And
this is what Tubbs would have said, but minimalized and much slower.
Yeah, so... But I think Benny does actually tell them that these guys are dangerous and that they should stop bothering him as well because it's bringing him trouble. So now they're at the club.
Part of the thing is he's not really cooperating with them so much as in frustration. He's like, these guys are so much bigger than you 2-bit tin stars. And he's like, go ahead and get in over your head with these guys, you losers. Like, that's the way we get it from him, if I remember correctly. You know, he doesn't sit like, all right, Sonny, let me just level with you. He's just like, get out of here. These guys are going to eat you for lunch.
Yeah, so apparently, let's have a look. So they go with Benny, but nothing happens. So at the club, and he tries to get Gina and Trudy to pose as prostitutes again, that they may be connected to the Invaders, you know, something like that. I think he hears news about some prostitutes getting beaten, doesn't he? So he tells them to investigate it, and you know, he tells Sonny about it, and then we get these this other couple as well that just get fucking robbed. But the old guy puts up a fight though, doesn't he? And
that has things go terribly sideways, and we see that these guys aren't just crazy; they're brutal.
Yeah, no, they are actually violent. They've already burned a woman earlier in the episode, so of course they're gonna gun down the cop. I mean, Asai Morales. I mean, you gun down the cop and not care, mate. You really are unhinged because that brings all sorts of fucking trouble. You kill a cop.
Let's unpack this for our audience a little better. There's a home invasion. The home invasion goes long. They have a getaway lookout guy who's also pretty good, and he's as ruthless as them. As they are like tossing this house, it goes on a little too long, and the cops just show up. And, you know, the cop, with not much disrespect, but wondering what's going on, wants to know why this car is idling in front of a really rich person's house in the middle of the night. And when he walks up on him, the driver pretends to be asleep, which is a real cold-hearted move, and makes him shows him as very controlled because he's about to do something extremely violent. And then he triple taps the cop. What do they say? 3 to the heart?
Yeah, like double. Yeah, triple taps him, doesn't he? Yeah.
At very close range, like the barrel of his gun he's got a longer barreled gun pistol, and the cop is fairly close. So we're talking like he's like a foot away, and he just three silencer rounds right to the chest. That's it. I mean, we don't see it, but like, you know, we see the firing of the gun, and we hear the cop hit the ground. Inside the house, the robbery continues to go a little sideways, and they delete their hostages.
Yeah, I mean, apparently the old guy is the old guy's in the hospital who was shot twice, but he put up a fight, and you kind of got to give credit to the old guy, even though he was outnumbered and outgunned. But so we get more information on him as well. Like the missus
info says he's a World War. I'm sorry, wait. Just stats would say he's a World War II vet. So he's like, I took on bigger guys than you in Germany.
Yeah. So yeah, he's still got that fighting spirit, isn't it? So. Yeah. So Malone tells him about the missus was taped, but managed to wriggle free to call the police, and the lock on the back door was ripped off, allowing them the entrance. And Castillo kind of once again gives Malone shit for why didn't you cordon off the area? It's like, well, it was pointless since they were already gone. So once again, a little bit of that animosity as well, and this is where Sonny really starts to
This objection, by the way, held more water than I don't want to check on the suspects. You know what I mean? This one held. At this point, it looks like Castillo is just all over Malone. He's like, he's going to double check every police method he did. Wants to know his justification.
I know. And Malone, he's pretty fucking petty here as well. You know, like he's being questioned for his for his sloppy methods, and even Sonny is like, listen, he may be a bit more of he may not have much of a warm disposition, but he is a good cop. And you know what? He's fucking right. The Malone I knew would not be doing this shit. He would actually be doing the job right, as I always knew him.
As we both know, Lieutenant Castillo should be a captain and should probably control multiple divisions because he's far too capable. He keeps Sonny on a leash. Sonny is the biggest liability in the department, and he's turned him around into a real asset. So
he's a great guy as well. I think that's why it works as well, because Yeah, because he does show tendencies to be a bit of a sociopath, and that becomes even more apparent as the series goes on. We start to see that
Well,
more and more in him. And
final season when he thinks he's Burnett.
yeah, oh, that was ridiculous. That was so ridiculous. And
We're gonna have
yeah,
fun with that one, though. I mean,
I know
we have enough time to prepare
we still
ourselves.
got to
We
talk
love
about the
this
bad
character.
episodes. We do. We still got to sort because sometimes
We
talking about the
love
bad
this
stuff can be fun.
character. It's going to be hard, but I guess sarcasm and humor will get us through it.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes.
By the way, they're dressed great
yes.
here, aren't they?
Yeah, no, but let's look at this beautiful shot as well. I mean, the good wide shot as well. Just let the actors walk in, surround that beautiful scenery. I mean, God, makes you want to go to Miami right now. It really does, especially 80s
The way
Miami.
the jacket is picked up by the umbrella and countered by the vertical stripes of the French style balcony architecture we see everywhere creates interesting aesthetics only possible in the 80s. I love this coat. I don't know what to call it. It's a striped plaid coat that's also a window pane coat. This is the most conventional coat that's still busy as hell in 80s you'll ever see. This thing is busy, man.
And it looks pretty good with this sort of like much more grayish bluish top he's wearing, which looks a little bit tattered around the corner, like some seams have been ripped out of it. But he's still pulling it off, though, really well.
Yeah, he cut the collar off like the weirdo he is, but he does look when he wears the grayscale clothes instead of the outright pastels. I like when we establish him in the pastels and then go darker color for most of the rest of the episode when he's behaving in a darker way.
Yeah,
this fits the episode. It's a gloomier outfit. It's more serious. He still couldn't be bothered to put on a button-down collared shirt like a real fucking cop, but okay.
But this is what I still like about Sonny as well. Even though he knows Malone is fucking up, he still stands up to him for in front of Castillo and tries and says, "Listen, he's fucking up, but he can come through, right? This is still a good cop, though. I know he's still a good cop, and he can redeem himself." And I really like that. So yeah, when the cat takes off with the best of acceleration, Castillo feels the acceleration as his head presses against the headrest of the seat. That's a nice little detail. Like, yeah, oh yeah, I had the car scene where Castillo communicates through his silence at Crockett. Intense and very cool at the same time. Yeah, that's what's great.
And that's, by the way, that's good acting. Think about it. They probably sped up the video just a little bit and had them like, now remember, guys, you're taking off quick. So they just like snap their heads back to the seat, and we're able to do it without having to do an actual like burnout in this car that's just a Dodge, a Plymouth Laser, right?
Yeah. So this is where Gina and Trudy have found the prostitutes that was beaten by him as well. And they've been very, very fucking uncooperative. It's like, yeah, we don't do anything for nothing. And it's like, listen, we need answers. It's like, oh, tough, aren't you? I ain't no trick. And if you want it. Yeah.
They've missed the point that what they get out of this is someone won't kill them. It's like, we don't do something for nothing. It's like the guys who pull you off the streets and cost you money are going to keep you alive so you can do it that much longer. Shut up.
Yeah, they probably could have had that a little bit and make him a bit more sympathetic, but
well, the cops should have said that to them, right? It's like, you know what, we're like,
yeah, that is
like,
a little bit of a
always
flaw
on the
there,
same side. Like I would have loved like, we're not always on the same side, but right now you got as much right to live as anyone else, and we'll protect you as much as anybody. Like you know, a moment of like guardianship. Like we see them as very cynical in this one. And this is an episode where the meta, we see them go to this a couple of times. Sometimes the story's point is that being a cop just grinds on you, and everything that happens in the episode isn't as important as driving that home.
Oh yeah, exactly. And but yeah, I mean, to be honest, I still buy that these prostitutes would act like this as well. You know, they're kind of putting up a front, aren't they? But he does tell them that if they don't cooperate, they can go downtown. But eventually, they get fuck all from him as well, and later on, they get sent to the arrest. And this is where the kind of where Castillo and Malone and what's the name of the character from Another 48 Hours? Okay, Sergeant Hugh Herity, played by Brent Jennings. So this is where they actually put their differences aside and actually work together, and they actually do cooperate. And you see Malone, yeah, you still see a little hint of Malone being that good cop as well, because he's going through the details as well. And once again,
yeah,
it takes its time, you know. It doesn't sort of like try and do any stylish camera angles or anything like that. It lets the actors act. It lets the scene play out. It lets the tedium build as they're trying to figure out what they can do to try and nab these psychos.
Very good decisions, right? Because there's no sloppy film work. It's not anti-good TV, but They're letting the scenes breathe. They're not trying. There's no Dutch angles. They're not trying to overwhelm you. The camera isn't constantly. It doesn't feel like it's overcompensating like we've seen in some other episodes.
Yeah, we could have done with a bit of a desk lamp anyway, because they're in the fucking dark. They need to read that stuff totally. So
come on, Sonny.
It does create a bit of atmosphere. I will say that. I mean, once again, Abel Ferreira knows how to utilize these the brooding visuals. He really does.
And can we set dress their office like this more with maps and technical stuff?
Yeah, it looks all tattered. Yeah, it looks real tattered and a little bit unorganized because they've been going through all these bloody files, and there's probably piles and piles of stuff that's been unsolved for God knows how long. And
there's cases there. It's jackets on them that say 1956. I would just say I wish that they would do this office aesthetic more often. Have you noticed it's the Law and Order office aesthetic? Confused, like a myriad of posters for different law enforcement causes, what we call public service announcement posters. Don't do drugs, drop a dime on bad guys, 1-800-TIPS and all. It's all the standard stuff that police stations have, and it's cluttered and it's crazy, just like police stations are, because it's nobody's home.
I know. Oh, it's brilliant. And once again, they're going through all these fucking possibilities as well. The brand of the handcuffs that we used a lot as well. And then it eventually leads to where were the prostitutes going when they first met these guys? Oh, they were at the Emporium, the bar, the salon. So it's like, this might be their only shot of catching one of the burglars anyway, the lead they need. And once again, Jan Hammer's score just really builds up the atmosphere as well. And it's fucking hell, it's so good to listen to.
He's doing great on this one. That's the compensation. They're like, Jan, here's like $5,000. Please go do a recording session. He's like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, now we got this now we go a little bit more levity, don't we? Where it definitely feels like a more comical Miami Vice episode for a bit, where it makes a little snad about the dog, and you've got Gina as well, posing as a high-class prostitute, so you're getting hair done, everything. She's not
a high-class prostitute. She's the bored wife of a super rich guy.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, because when he tries to pull her, she's like, "Oh yeah, when between me and my husband's board meeting." So that's my.
And she looks like she's looking for a lover. By the way, if you go back one frame, tell me this didn't go through your mind. Ready? Emilio? A flock of seagulls went through my mind too, but this character whose hair he's dressing she is based on Joan Rivers. She's another obnoxious New Yorker who spends part-time in Florida. She's got the New York accent. Her name is Muriel. She loves cigarettes, from what we can tell.
That's not. Oh yeah. So it was based on Joan Rivers then. I like Muriel though. She's kind of awesome.
Based on Joan Rivers. She is absolutely steals this episode in her few scenes. She's fun. I love Muriel.
I know, and she's kind of seems like she might have been a bit of a bad in her day as well. The way she's chatting with fucking Zito, even Zito's sort of like showing a little bit of charm towards her, having a little bit of banter with her. But we'll get there later. And I kind of noticed something as well. Like, Jesus Christ, was this kind of shot in the autumn or the early spring? Something, because I'm seeing some dead trees here as well. Trees with no leaves.
In Florida, there's a lot of foliage and something's in and out of season at all times, but you're probably right, because you would want to do your Miami Vice filming, in Miami for your exteriors. You want to be there after Thanksgiving, and you want to be out of there before Memorial Day. Otherwise, it's like it is hotter there than it is in Saudi Arabia or Kuwait.
Well, that's the thing, because it looks so sunny all the time. You'd think it was summer every day. And once again, he tries to sort of make.
They have some weird swampy trees that look like shit too.
Yeah, I mean, he spots like the ring on that, everything, So he's all, even though he's unhinged, he is still very perceptive, and he's still on the ball. Yeah.
And they're great cops, because they tricked her out with everything that he needed to catch, everything they needed for her to catch this guy's attention. And they don't know who exactly they're looking for, but they know like where to go to see where these people find their case for their victims. So Trudy shows she's a good. Gina.
She immediately suspects him. She immediately suspects him. That's good copping.
Sees him staring at her ring.
I
They
know.
give her a perfect like 10-carat diamond to wear to catch attention, and she's looking like a rich lady looking for a lover. She's like, my pool boy quit. What are you up to on Friday? Kind of a vibe to her.
Yeah, you always kind of get the idea that Gina was is the more experienced out of the female supporting characters. You know, while Trudy is a little bit more still capable, but still a little bit green, and she's still kind of learning a little bit because we see in season 2 that she's never really killed anyone, has she?
Which
Even
is
though
that's like day one before lunch on this department. Yeah, you know what? We have 3 sets of Crockett and Tubbs. We have Crockett and Tubbs Prime, who are Crockett and Tubbs. Then we have Crockett and Tubbs Comic Relief that are Zito and Switek. And then we have female Crockett and Tubbs, and female Crockett and Tubbs line up racially. Female Crockett is Gina, female Tubbs is Trudy.
yeah. And this does make me laugh. Even though these girls fucking annoy me, it did lead to some good reactions from Switek and Zito because it's like, you know, but not him, not him, not him. And the one's whining saying, oh, this is boring. It's like, well, you got to go through all these bloody pages to find the guy. I mean, you know, it's Miami. It's going to be full of fucking criminals. And
yeah, and fashion note, by the way, when we see him, he's always exceptionally clean shaven. It's usually Switek who's ahead of him on the beard. If you look, this is not the most clean shaven we've seen John Deal. They've told him start growing in that beard. This show's going 2 seasons. He's got a little bit of scruff going on. It's not a lot. It looks like he just skipped the first week of shaving.
Yeah, actually, I was going to question if this was out of sequence and that maybe Made for Each Other was supposed to be after this episode, but
I think this is after Made for Each Other because they're like, you know what, you could use a beard to distinguish you from Crockett, and they're like, you know what, John, like you're not Don Johnson, but like you kind of are a handsome actor. We need to change your look because we want to feature Don more. That's my feeling.
Yeah, and I like the mislead as well. And she's like, him owes me $20. Make a note of it. And it's like, listen.
That was great.
It was, yeah. And you can see Zito wants to punch these fucking bitches. He does.
This is an Abel Ferrer scene, and you can see elements of the scene where the bad lieutenant pulls over the 2 chicks who have been at the all-night nightclub, and he wants to know what they've been up to. And then he wants to see their boobs and do something to himself at the side of the freaking road. That was that scene where the chicks are just like they're chewing gum and they're too worldly and they don't give an F until the cops kind of like, hey, get it together. And, you know, in that case, in the bad lieutenant, he's just being evil. In this one, they're trying to be good cops, but like the overly hard streetwalkers.
I know. So, yeah, I even like the LAN area where they mentioned the trial where they asked to identify him, and there's like, I'm pretty sure it was a Gemini. So
that was great. That was great. I laughed out loud.
So once again, we are getting a little bit of levity, especially since we're watching an episode that is pretty visually moody, for lack of a better term, anyway. But
if the hookers aren't quirky and sort of funny, they're too miserable and too much of a downer.
Yeah, they're very cynical, aren't they?
Yeah,
they're very cynical.
If we don't make them cynical, did you ever see the Ricky Gervais thing where Liam Neeson wants to play a man who's caught AIDS in a comedy?
It's
it's kind of going over like that. You know what I mean? It's kind of going over like that, where it's like, I don't see the comedy in that. You know what I mean? It's not quite connecting.
Yeah, that was a fucking funny scene. Life's too short. That's very
Warwick Davis was great in that one. It was just like, we shared a scene together. And he looks at him and just goes, anyway, as I was saying.
So yeah, so now she goes to Castillo and she knows she might have an idea who this fucking suspect is, and so he orders to get Trudy and take the hookers down to the car park to point out the valet. And once again, they give Gina and Trudy some kind of lip as well, don't they? But then they eventually spot him, and it's looking like they may have someone on there right now. So let's have a look. So I'm just going from the notes right here as well. So they've actually spotted him copying the keys, everything. So they've got something on there as well. So they're waiting for them.
That was a cute trick. We see it really quick. What happens is they're watching the surveillance cam. He gets out of the car. He parks it. He pulls the keys out of the ignition. He pulls something out of his pocket. He does something to the keys. Then he pulls the keys back out of whatever he did, puts the little like matchbook size thing in his pocket. What I believe that is a small container of clay to take an impression of the key to make a clay mold of it later.
Yeah, I was thinking about that as well because, it does take a little bit of time to take it to a key maker and make a copy, doesn't it? But
he knows a crooked key maker and he's got probably crooked locksmith skills himself. But this is like kind of like a known kind of scam, right? It makes sense really quick off the cuff. It's like, okay, if you make a clay impression of something, you can make a make a duplicate.
Yeah,
so he's copying it.
Once again, we're seeing these criminals know what they've done. They've probably made a few mistakes on the way, but they've almost perfected their art here as well. And this is where we meet Muriel. I mean, this fucking absolute legend. Let's try and give the actress.
Well, it's our second meeting, but this is where she really rolls it out. And she's based on Ben Stiller's mom. This character is, part Joan Rivers, but there's a lot of Anne Mira in her too, if you've ever seen her comedy.
Yes, Sylvia Miles. That's Sylvia Miles. Okay, she
knocks it out of the park.
Yeah, and she's a New Yorker. She's a New Yorker once again, another New Yorker, and she's been on a few. She's been on Wall Street, Farewell My Lovely, Midnight Cowboy. Yeah, she's one of fucking. She's like the older woman. I think she's like the first woman that John Voight gets laid with.
I think you're right. She's been in a bunch of movies. Her acting skill is high. There's no slipping a New York accent by me. Hers is just as real as Fran Drescher's and just as exaggerated. She's pushing it a little bit, but you can tell when a real New Yorker pushes their real New York accent. Like Donnie, like the Wahlbergs, they always play New Yorkers. That Boston accent, it's so obvious to us.
Yeah,
200
I get what you mean.
Huge difference.
Yeah, I kind of get what you mean, PB, because it does seem very sort of like tonally kind of inconsistent compared to the rest of the episode, which is kind of a little bit more darker and a little bit more harsher. But we still,
yeah, you're right. He's right. It's a bunch of gay hairdressers. It's presented that way.
Yeah, it feels very much like one of the more comical episodes at the moment. But yeah, I think it was maybe to give it a bit of levity. Who knows?
They've shown a tendency to try to mix the comedy with the exposition and the action as much as they can. And on their best days, they get the mix right, and it's a great episode. When the comedy and the action and the storytelling intertwine perfectly, we get that about 15 out of 23 episodes. And then the other ones are still good. But, I mean, sometimes they get it perfect. A lot they get it perfect.
Yeah, and once again, I like how they're just keeping an eye on them, keeping observant, and the C is making a copy of the key Muriel's car, so now they've got to use her as a way to get them. And she just fucking drives off. She thinks she's been arrested for something, but eventually they stop her, and she's I'm surprised they didn't fucking fine her for dangerous driving, but they need her obviously, don't they? Yeah, she's a little crazy.
She's charmingly crazy, and here's the thing: what a beautiful car, a Corvette Stingray.
Yeah. And she looks pretty fucking good for her age as well. She's all dolled up, everything. She's like one of those glamour grannies, and she's got this confidence to her as well, which you kind of can't help but like, which kind of makes her endearing as well. And
she's a very Florida lady. She's the most believable Floridian here. She's had the Florida facelift. She's got the Florida fried out bleach blonde hair that should be gray, and she's also she's not from around here. She's from up north, and she just. I think every American who lives on the East Coast has met like hundreds of women like this.
I mean, there's a vanity. There is kind of this vanity to her as well, but she never comes across malicious or anything. She's
she charms them all. They end up really liking her. Guys, just so you know, the reason that they've intercepted this woman is that they've come to believe that she is under surveillance to be the next target, and they want to protect her. And so that's why when she acts crazy and weird, they're indulgent to her. Because if anyone else does this, Crockett's like, all right, creep, get out of the car. You're getting the free jewelry and going downtown. But with her, he's like, no, look, we want to protect you. No, look,
I know she kind of she panics, doesn't she? She's thinking like, okay, a robbery? Please, take whatever you want, but please don't creep me. And she
flees when they badge out. She flees, and there's a brief car chase with two high-powered cars. But she's just rich. She's a rich, crazy lady, and pulls her Corvette over. This is the best car in the episode, though. GTO.
Yeah, and before we do move on as well, I mean, I do like the fact that she eventually warms up to him and saying, "My name is Annabelle, but if you really are cops, you
Muriel.
can call me Muriel." It's like, oh, bless her. And yeah, what we got the tailing scenes now, they keep an eye on them, but eventually they switch the vans and they lose them. So, and I really love
This
this
was
sort of like,
very
look,
able for Rare, wasn't it? With all the
yeah,
the crosstalk communication, and like the botched up. They get about 6 minutes of screen time out of the botched operation with just cars driving around. This doesn't add much to the story. They're just trying to get through this episode.
But it does kind of add a little bit more suspense as well because you've got them in the house thinking they're going to go there, but later on, once again, more that dark lighting as well. And Gina rings up saying, "Should we send back up?" And it's like, no, just have them cover the garage. And but now they're kind of worried that their cover could be blown as well. So they try to ring Muriel to find out which lights to turn on to leave on. And I like the fact that she says she turns off the bedroom one because she likes to spy on some fucking hot young thing or something, but she's kind of interrupted before she finishes that sentence. So that did almost get a bit of a laugh out of me. I'm like, you horny old cow. I love you.
Yeah, she was great. Although in this, just point out, one, Sonny is putting a gun, which is covered with gun oil, onto a fabric couch. That couch is destroyed with the gun impression on it forever. Two,
Yeah,
he's playing around with his backup gun. And at the end of the scene, like, I think the reason that Lieutenant Castillo is face palming here is because Sonny is holding a gun in each hand while they're in either his house or a safe house. This is either a place the department keeps for informants or Castillo's personal residence. He's brought Sonny to his house or something. He's like, all right, we're going to wait this one out. Let's just go to my house, have a couple of Dos Equis, and we'll get on the job in a few hours.
Yeah, that's but then we kind of get this twist as well, and is like, where do you park your car usually? And it's like, what car? I don't have a car. And it's like, with the car you drove in early, and she's like, oh, that's my daughter's car. You think I drive around the blue?
I would never own a blue car. Yeah, she shows a lot of schizophrenic traits, right? It's like they ask her a question, and the answer seems to come from a different person.
Yeah, well, you can make the argument that she's old now. A man isn't always the best as it used to be. I mean, because when he mentions that you've been targeted for a robbery, and she immediately thinks it's them, that the cops that are going to rob her.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, she's only about as smart as Bugs Bunny. She has not missed one trip past the mirror or the buffet or the drink table in her partying career. And it's like, I think she's shown as a little bit inhibited from all the partying. Like, she has been at it since Woodstock.
Yeah, so yeah, because I mean, I've known people who used to do mushrooms back in the 90s. They don't do it anymore, but the mans are still frad. I mean, you never, yeah, yeah. Sometimes they're not as bad as yours. Some people are like, oh yeah, I was like over there, man, and it was like totally mad. It's like fucking man, oh yeah, and it's like very incoherent. It's like yeah, oh yeah, I get what you're saying, mate. I get what you're saying, mate. So yeah, but once again, they realize, shit, they have to find out the address with their daughter now and race there and hope they activate. And we get some more recycled shots of the car because it saves money and
we have to bloat the episode. This episode was longer than most. What was it, 53 minutes?
Yeah,
the average 48.
Yeah, 49 minutes, just over 49 minutes. And this is where I start to think a line that was originally used by Tubbs was switched to Castillo, because he knocks the guy out and says, lights out. And it's like, and I was thinking, Castillo is not really a one-liner type of guy, apart from that, maybe that one instance in the Golden Triangle Part 2, and there's like, take me to a bar. But this feels like a very tough line.
When they grab this guy, they hate him because he's a cop killer, and they're a little extra harsh to him. Sonny locks him. Sonny handcuffs him to the car and goes, "You give me a hard time, maybe I just start driving." And that's when Castillo just grabs him by the carotid artery and puts him to sleep and goes, maybe just shut up, or whatever it is he said.
Yeah. And I love how they get into positions as well. Like Castillo's going to smash the window and get their attention, giving Sonny the opportunity to gun a couple down while they're looking at Castillo. And I love that,
I would say this is where we saw that our suspense director does have some limitations as an action director, but it wasn't scene killing. I don't know how we got from not knowing what was going on to Castillo throwing the chair through the back porch glass doors, but it was effective, and I don't mind. Which
I love the slow motion. Yeah, I love the slow motion as well. It's very well done, and
yes,
adds a bit. It's like you said, it adds a bit of tension as well. And
PB's right, by the way. Jan Hammer distinguished himself. I won't say he saved this episode, but he took what would have been just another episode and gave it its own identity. This felt like an event in its own, even without Tubbs.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it feels very much like Abel Ferreira, and you can sort of see the potential Ferreira has when he starts making, his very dark, noirish, nihilistic movies. But yeah, they gun down Zaya Morales, and I like it when one guy's like, "Hey, what's going down there? What's going on down there? I mean, you better not be gunned down by cops. I swear to God." Oh shit! I got gunned down by a cop. Shit, damn, I'm dead.
He looks like he's ready for festival at Logan's Run or carnival at Logan's Run. He's like, "Let me put on my carnival mask and see if I can make it past 28."
Yeah.
Sorry. You hit the giant bug zapper that's on the ceiling of. Can we get a remake of that movie where we have coherence to the plot and understand what the hell is going on?
And yeah, they're all celebrating. They got the bad guys, and she's been all charming and everything. Even she's even been charming towards Zito as well. He's playing the jealous boyfriend. It's like, I can't believe you're thinking of other men. And Sonny gets his charming one-liner as well, saying, "Hey, he's out of your league. Don't break his heart, okay?"
You know what? Between you and me, if I had to approach any cops at this table, because Tubbs isn't there, if I had to talk to any cops at the table and Castillo hasn't arrived, the one I talk to is Zito. If I have to go to the cops, if I'm in deep, deep shit, I go to Zito. Because at least he won't smack talk me. He won't put humor above my best interests. He'll talk to me frankly, and then he'll go take shit from the other detectives who will not care for a little while and win them over to my side. He is the best person to go to. He's the most personable, the most friendly, and he has the best disposition. He keeps joking around. All these other guys seem to be getting ground down by this job. The guy who's most suited to take it, I'm sure he's going to have a very productive retirement because of the wait, we'll get to that.
Yes, because when
he's well suited for this job. He's well suited.
Earlier when the prostitutes were being very sort of like stubborn and bratty, and Zito kind of did say, "Listen, what's wrong with you?" You know, while Switek was getting very infuriated with them, wasn't he? And
Switek gets obnoxious and starts snarking at him. And Zetek says the unwritten thing. He's like, "Look, this is going to sound weird." And he doesn't put it this way, but this is the gist of it. As weird as this sounds, you're professionals on the streets. We're professionals on the streets. We don't want you getting hurt. We will arrest you if you break the law, but we're not going to let people kill you. Just tell us what we want to know and treat us like the friends we're trying to be right now. And forget about all the adversarial stuff that happens when we have to stop you from breaking the law.
No, it's understandable.
Laws which have, by the way, changed.
Yeah, plus vice cops need prostitutes. They're the ones that can get them in with the fucking pimps and everything, who can lead them to drug dealers, because pimps need drugs so they can keep their hookers compliant and dependent on them. It's fucked up, but yeah. So this is where he meets up with Malone again, and Malone hands him a little piece of something to go fishing with, and he tells him, I thought it'd be. It seems to be popular where officers get to hang out with their retired mentors. And yeah, it kind of kills the mood a little bit as well. And he's like, "I handed in my badge," And even Castillo's kind of like, it's like he looks. It's like he almost kind of tried to recommend his job to Castillo, but Castillo is
he's already turned it down.
Yeah, he turned it
down. He said, "I couldn't think of anyone else who had the qualifications." They've come to a meeting of the minds. I think off screen there was a comment where it's just like, "Malone, I know I've come on pretty strong, but I have a sense of justice that I think you've lost." And he's like, "You're right. You know what, Marty? Let's go down to the division and you know what? It's tough. I've solved my last case. I saw this one through. It's like, I think that he's at the end of his story. At first, they treat it like a death. Like it's career death. It's like, oh, you're not going to be a cop anymore. But then like reality sort of sinks in on Sonny. One, I've got a great new fly reel for my fishing rod. Like I'm going to be able to reel them in real good. Bet you can put 200-pound test on this. And then, you've got the captain saying, the lieutenant saying, "You know what? Like I've done my bit. it's very much like, like I've gotten to the point where I can't perform in this job anymore. I'm a 45-year-old man with a lot of skills. I've got a pension. I've got a future ahead of me. I'm going to go enjoy my life, get out of this horror story where I see people, dead every day, and I'm going to get to live life among the living. And I've got like 20 years ahead of me to make money doing something else. Maybe I'll do private security. I was a high-ranking officer. I'm going to be fine. This guy's going to be fine.
Yeah, well, I think he goes to work for Joey P at a bonding office in LA, and ends up kind of end up working for the mob as well, doesn't he? So yeah, he becomes a bad guy later on.
Oh, I didn't know we brought him back. Right now, this is presented as the right decision. I've made it to the end of my law enforcement career. I would rather be retired than be an impediment to justice, which means his heart's still in the right place. He leaves the department as a pure of heart cop. I like that.
Plus, I think it was more due to the fact of Sonny kind of giving him shit about it as well, and he was like, "Yeah, you know what? He's right. I mean, I'm fucking up. If the kid I fucking who looked up to me can see that, then I've got to try and make this right." And Sonny is trying to convince
this guy, and he's calling me out on my methods. I'm not the cop I used to be. I'm not doing what I used to do. I'm not supervising my own guys now the way I supervise. I turned out a great cop with Sonny. And my guys now, they just handed over a bunch of useless garbage. Like someone might get killed in the couple of days it takes us to get up to speed. I should have had this taken care of. He's realizing that, but he reacts with ego first. At the end, he's like, I got to be a good guardian, and I can't.
Yeah, he does.
So I won't be a guardian.
Yeah, because this is where he does the line. Is like, I used to, once upon a time, I showed you when to take the gun out of your holster. This time I'm showing you when to put it on the shelf. And he still tries to convince him to still sort of stick it out. Listen, you had one bad case. You can come back from this. It's like, listen, it's one bad case I don't want on my record. It's, I don't want, this is going to happen a lot more. I'm burnt out. I'm not the cop I used to be. I've got to do the right thing and throw in the towel.
Very admirable. Because he's making great money. He could just sit back and put it on remote control and not care about people. He's not some person who let being a cop become just a job yet until he becomes a criminal later. But right now, this is real honorable. You know what, Mama? Going to hang up my guns. Going to hand him my star, and we're going to ride off into the sunset. He's going to live a better life, it seems here,
So he goes back to the celebrate with everyone, and it's kind of left with Sonny as well, kind of looking at it. And even though it's heartbroken that his mentor is retiring now because he just can't cut it anymore, I wonder if Sonny is starting to think, you know what, this could be me. This may be me one day.
I think you're onto something right now. I think what he's thinking is, I have to pick up my former mentor's sword and be the cop he was too. So what it is it's mounting pressure, right? This one cop couldn't take it anymore. The pressure has worn him down. Now, it took decades, and he had a good living, and he put his kids through college or whatever it is, but this has worn him down. He's only a human being. He wants to go fishing. Take me fishing once in a while, Sonny. Sonny, you know what? I've worked as hard as I can. I'm a 100% all-out cop. I can't do it anymore, so I won't. And you know what? I'm just gonna leave off like with a, but like my last at bat was a World Series home run. I can live with it, Sonny. And it's like, it's an admirable thing, but he's just like, man, one day I'm gonna miss the thrill of being a keeper of justice. And now I've got the responsibility. Like, there's one less good cop out there. It's going to be that much harder for me. Thank God I got Marty. That was my takeaway.
I know. So yeah, that is the end of the Home Invaders, and
fantastic
episode. And every week now, every week once we finish going through the episode, we do our favorite regular character, favorite guest character, favorite quote, music moment, favorite outfit, and overall rating. So starting with me, it's a pretty good episode with some pretty smart, unhinged antagonists, especially David Kelly and Sia Morales as part of the ensemble. And even though they had to write around Tubbs not being there because of his injury, it still manages to be pretty gripping. I like seeing the cops, despite put their differences aside to try and work together and nab these scumbags and actually come to some kind of common understanding. And I like the fact that it touches on just how brutal this job can take on you mentally. And once again, seeing the team working together as well, trying to, analyze, trying to find out how to, track these criminals down, whatever leads, especially because they're up against these very, very intelligent criminals. And it's good to sort of see them coming up against challenging enemies. And once again, Castillo shows to be the moral compass, though I do suspect some of the scenes he was in may have been originally written for Tubbs. And we do have Muriel to lighten the tone a little bit. It's visually brooding, it's suspenseful, and while Tubbs' absence is felt, it was still cool. It was still a pretty cool, brooding episode, well directed by Abel Ferreira. So, yeah, overall opinion on this episode, Admiral Teague.
Oh, well, gee, I think you summed it up well. Brooding. They stretched
Hey,
out
J-Man.
a lot.
How you doing?
J-Man, it's great to see my friend the J-Man. He's a great YouTuber, folks. If you want to see some comic stuff, subscribe to him. You know what? This episode is, as we said, atmospheric, brooding. It's really good. We have a great repair job. Here's the problem. We've seen like maybe 6 of the last 8 episodes were kind of mashed up, repaired, or retooled, because the best I can figure is the show's phenomenal success caused a massive uptick in production. We had a couple of unpolished scripts, a couple of not misses, but near to that, like where we almost were spinning one too many plates. This episode manages everything well. I would have given it an A earlier in the season for management and damage control, but I'm going to have to give it a B because a compromised episode is kind of the norm in season 1. We might hit peak Miami Vice in season 2. Right now,
yeah, we do.
Yeah, cranking up production has had an effect on the quality of some stories, and instead of watering down the subject matter or making the stories less impactful, we've diluted them with extra musical sequences, and we're not going to do that as much in season 2. We're going to have a little more storytelling intensity. On the other hand, we don't go around gunning down people left and right until the final gunfight. Like, we don't have a preliminary like gat down where we take out a bunch of people, which was a problem earlier in the season. We're moving away from Starsky and Hutch, and even though we would have liked to have our team together, this helps that goal a lot. We see that they can each operate alone or with alternate partners, which is going to keep on happening. I think Don Johnson's going to get caught up in repeatedly auditioning for the Doors movie because his hair gets very Jim Morrison and he gets into singing and the time overlaps. I don't have any confirmation on this. It's just the only thing that makes sense. It's like, why is he trying to look like and act like Jim Morrison? And why is he like working on a California accent out of nowhere?
Yeah, we'll touch on that later. So, yeah, thank you very much, Admiral Teague. So now we're on to our favourite regular character. And yeah, I kind of will give this to Sonny, even though I love Castillo being the moral compass here. It's Sonny's confliction towards his loyalty to both Castillo and Malone that makes him the more interesting character. He knows Castillo is right, but he's also having to come to terms with the fact that his mentor may not be the hero he's made him out to be or used to be. And he doesn't act like a total idiot when he confronts him, and he still defends him. And it kind of also leads to, when Malone hands in his badge and says, you got to learn when to put the gun on the shelf. You can sort of see he's starting to wonder if this he could end up being the same way if he does this job too long. And I like that. Once again, it's said without words. It's all said in the way Sonny just looks down at the fishing reel. So, yeah, favorite regular character. Teague.
All right, my favorite regular character, because they step up so big in this one. You could go Trudy or Gina, but I'm gonna say I'm gonna give it to Lieutenant Castillo. Marty's great in this one. A subtle understated performance where he's still extremely powerful, showing what we're gonna get. And by the way, I'm gonna adjust my grade in honor of Kung Fu, who's not here. Instead of giving it a B, I think it's more fair to give it 3 out of 5 espadrilles.
Okay, well, that's the final rating. We'll get to that later. But so yeah,
I bet on that first part, I give it a B on that story on the damage control. 3 out of 5.
Yeah, I hope we can get Kung Fu on next week anyway, man. Because I know he's always busy doing his videos and looking, and trying to be a good son as well. So now we're on to favorite guest character, and yeah, we have. It was really tough for me because we had David Michael Kelly, we had Caldoni and Isaiah Morales, but I will have to go for Joker. Fucking hell, what's his name again? Let me get Internet Movie Database. I do apologize. So let me get him up. Okay, so Jack Kehoe, if I'm pronouncing his
Jack
name right.
Kehoe.
I mean,
Okay, yeah.
yes, because he is basically a good cop, and he is still very sympathetic. He's just done this job for too long now, and he's just having trouble. He's got this pride as well, where he doesn't want to admit that he may be burning out, and he should quit while he's ahead. But he does redeem himself. He does see that, yeah, as whatever cop I used to be, I'm not that guy anymore, and if I continue, I'm probably going to get more innocent people harmed as well, and I don't want that on my conscience. So, and once again, he shows to have some good chemistry with Sonny as well. He really does come across as this mentor towards him, and he's just so likable as well. Yeah, he's doing stupid things, but you do feel sorry for him. He is sympathetic, and this is a guy who can play assholes pretty convincingly as well, especially in films like Midnight Run and Serpico. So yeah, it's got to be Jack Kehoe as Lieutenant John Malone. Favorite guest character.
Malone does do an absolutely fantastic job, and it's all those things that you said. He's a storied actor with a great career, and a lot has been said about him. So why don't I do something else and say, you know what? Let's give it up to the casting department. Obnoxious hookers. They almost saved this episode. The fact that you're laughing says it all. I didn't even have to make a joke. The obnoxious gum-chewing hookers, they're insufferable. They're idiotic. They don't want any help from the police, who are doing like Boy Scout work, not really bothering them this time. And they just want to chew gum, snap their fingers at people and be bitches. It's hilarious. And they add a lighthearted and random element to the episode. Because if they don't play ball a little more, these guys are going to get away. So I'm going to give it to the casting department with the wild hookers. They have a supporting role in this, but they're always together. So wild, tasteless hookers.
Yeah, I mean, you can have them both anyway, because I don't think one works without the other, do they? So it's kind of like
I've got $20. I could have them both.
Yeah.
You mean that's yes.
Yeah, they're like the Abbott of and Costello are fucking hookers in a way. So yeah, that's a good little pick. That it's good to have little unexpected picks as well, because especially when they don't get a lot of attention they deserve as well. And I do feel a bit sad that I didn't put Muriel on there as well, because she's so fucking charming. We've known women like her who still like to doll themselves up, and that's like they're in the 20s. We want to see her again. But I know she's
right? I want to see her again. She should be part of their world.
She
should be in this as much as Izzy. She would make a great girlfriend for Izzy. I would love to see him with a relationship. Sonny. I wanted to go to Harvard, but I ended up in Yale. You know what I mean? Like she's a crazy woman. We could have like a good Ricky Lucy thing. These characters are almost made for each other. I consider this a missed opportunity not keeping her on, but perhaps she commanded a handsome salary. She's a good actress.
Yeah, I mean, that man, she was fucking she was fine though when she was a bit younger. This is from shots in a movie called Heat in 1972. Let's get it up. She's got a good pair of fucking cans on her. So let's get her up. And
she had kept her figure even older. She was looking all right older. The only
Midnight Cowboy,
They worked on it to make her look out of it in this. Yeah, she's always been what we call a butterface, but look at that bod.
Yeah, damn man. She was she was already kind of aging around that time as well, but she kept herself in shape.
Angelina Jolie looks like she transitioned there.
Yeah, let's say it was a really old woman with Meryl Streep, and it's a shame that she didn't show up later on in another episode, because this is a show that's had loads of like actors show up again in different parts, or sometimes even a couple of characters return. But we're gonna
Mary Merrill in there. She had her day. You were once beautiful, my girl.
Well, time is a cruel mistress sometimes, though. But she lived a good long life, 1924 to 2019, so she had good innings.
All right, baby, 94 years. You deserved it.
Fucking hell, man. Yeah. J-Man, if you do want to jump on, if you can try and catch up on season 1, or you can maybe jump on to season 2, or anytime. I mean, if you don't mind, if you're not a big continuity nut, you can jump on any episode you want if you ever get some free time. Let me know. Message me on Facebook.
He's
Yeah.
on a Close to My Time. He's a pal of mine. He's an American guy who mostly does comics, but if he put his mind to it and wanted to be a reviewer for this, he would do great. And everyone should watch his. They're only about 2 minutes long. He does a review of every single episode of Star Trek Enterprise. Great YouTuber.
And I've not had time to actually watch some of his stuff, but I've talked to him a couple of times. Seems like a nice guy. I'm trying to get him on the stream, but he streams a lot as well, so it might be a little bit more difficult. But still,
you should guest with him. You'd be a natural.
I might jump on.
Did anything outside the wheelhouse. So he does a lot of sci-fi and comedy too. So I mean, sci-fi and other stuff too, but like a lot of comic analysis.
So we've done the guest character now, and the outfit for sleazy reasons, the hookers, because Willie gets hardy when it sees hookers. For non-sleazy, it's got to be Sunny for that stripy blazer he was wearing, and teaming it with the sort of like much more muted blue top and the white slacks and the white espadrilles. Yeah, he's pulling that off. He's pulling that shit off. Very, very Duran Duran style, but he's pulling it off. So, favorite outfit.
Oh my God, like pick any one of the gay hairdressers. Okay. Those are some great outfits. Yeah. I would just say anything Muriel wears or any of the gay hairdressers, I'm down. That's fine with me.
Oh, yeah, yeah, because you got
you're right about Sonny's jacket is everything you said.
Yeah, fucking agreed. I mean, yeah, it's proper flock of seagulls, which was kind of which does seem appropriate since they did start off as hairdressers before they became a rock band. So, but fucking hell, was they already training to be musicians while they were hairdressers? They must have done because the music's
not like
good.
They were the most fantastic, you know what, hairdressers, but maybe their talent was with music. You know, maybe it's just that the guitar player was a guy who they gave a great haircut to because he was able to string together like not just their hit, but like their other songs are fairly good. Flock of Seagulls are re-listenable. It's weird. Like Space Age.
I know, though. I think they're very. They seem to get known for just like maybe one or two songs, but I think they're very underrated. I mean, weird haircuts aside, though. But
the first album's really good.
Yeah. So yeah, now we're going for music moment, and it's got to be Closed by Jan Hammer because it's just so suspenseful, it's so haunting, it's brooding, it feels very noirish as well, and you know, every time it plays, and it's like, you know, it just adds something. It just sends chills up my spine, and then you get the scrambled synths playing where it goes, which kind of adds something a little bit more nerve into it. So, and it really does complement the more brooding visuals, especially in the claustrophobic office. So, yeah, Jan Hammer Closed for music moment. Admiral Teague, music moment.
I love the long bluesy guitar solo. I'm trying to figure out who did it. I'm thinking that there's a high chance it's B.B. King or Stanley Jordanson. Let's see if our pal Grok has the answer, but it's while they're casing and doing detective work, and in the home invasion episode, it's prominent guitar-like elements. Jan Hammer does play the guitar. So here's the deal. He does a great job. It's a Jan Hammer song. I guess it is Clues, where he has the loose, bluesy guitar playing. In the video for the Miami Vice theme song, at one point he is playing the guitar. So he may be a multi-instrumentalist, but I guess because the guitar is so synthesized sounding, it could be the keyboards. So I'm going to go with Clues. I guess it's Jan Hammer's Clues is the guitar piece that I loved.
Yeah, it's fucking good, man. So now we'll go for quotes, and it's got to be Malone's. I showed you when to. Sorry, I'm fucking stammering it. I do apologize. Still a little hungover, but you know, England went to the semi-finals. You know, I got my excuse. So, you know, I showed you when and when not to holster your weapon, but now it's time for me to show you when to put it on the shelf. Because, yeah, once again, it just hits home when I watched this episode. It really did, and it kind of got me a little bit teared up as well. I felt sorry for Malone, and I also felt sorry for Sonny, just to sort of see this great guy he once looked up to is just kind of like not going to be out helping people again and doing what gave his life meaning, and the fact that he's probably going to end up the same way himself if he continues in this job. So that's my quote on the Home Invaders. And Admiral Teague, favorite quote.
Well, we could use any of the demeaning lines they shouted at people when they were holding guns on them at the home invasion. But same guy, different line. He has a couple of memorable ones in this one. When when Lieutenant Castillo confronts Lieutenant Malone about the fact that they're not surveilling likely suspects, Malone responds, "Yeah, well, over here in homicide, we're not exactly in the habit of tucking in every murderer every night."
Yeah.
Just a good line. Frustration, but also like it speaks to the ongoing, like there's a small arc within this episode from Malone where he's like, I'm not going to be a useless cop, which is something I've seen, in a law enforcement family, a couple of people make the rightful decision to do. It's like, I'm almost, 50. It's a young man's job. It's like, the realities of the job are hitting home through the Malone character, but that was a great line.
Yeah, cheers, man. Yeah, he's going to be editing that. He's going to be like time stamping that. You bastard, PB. And I fucking encourage it. I know, I encourage it. So, now we're just on to the final rating now, and I've got to say, I've got to give it to. Oh, I'm trying to think of a good, funny rating system here, but so far nothing's coming to mind. So I'll probably go for
out of 5 keys of contraband.
Yeah, you know what? I'll give it four mouthy hookers out of 5. There we go. That's mad.
Look, if this was any other show, I might be up as high as you are, but because we've seen too many damage control episodes in season 1, I'm going to say, as impressed as I am that they can repair an episode, we've done this on almost every episode since Glades, which has had either damage or a lot of shortcuts. So season 1 shaping up to be a little bit shambolic. I'm starting to understand why Dick Wolff was imposed.
Yeah, you can sort of see, because we are still finding their feet as well, and he had a lot of problems he had to work around. And plus, with the season 2, you can see they've got a bit more of a budget now. They can probably afford to, work around whatever happens around there as well, and actually still produce something a little bit more high quality. But I still think this is a good episode as well. I love the direction. I love the Clues haunting Scum. Once again, I love the fact that the villains are very fucking smart, and they actually pretty much have the cops stumbled a little bit as well. And so that was the Home Invaders, and
it's very self-aware. I give it 3 espadrilles out of 5 on story because we've fixed too many on the fly. We've fixed too many on the fly by now. Next season, I'm looking forward to smoother, more well thought out stories that don't have to be fixed in the middle or aren't bloated. This one had a little bit of both. It was fixed and it was bloated.
Yep, I think we're coming up to another episode. I think it's Nobody Lives Forever. So next week is Nobody Lives Forever, where, from what I remember, Sonny is being a total fucking idiot now. He's really letting the pussy blind him. But then again, it is 1980s Kim Greist, if I'm pronouncing her name right. Fucking hell. I'm very bad at pronouncing names. I really am. I mean, it's kind of become a bit of an inside joke even on my videos. But
I think it's great. Don't ever research how to pronounce a name. Okay, just keep going with your instincts, please.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna love this. I don't know if I'm gonna love this episode more than when I last saw it. I don't even know if I'm gonna hate it more. It's one of these episodes that didn't really leave much for me last time I watched it, but we'll see anyway next week. I'm gonna get my notes on it as soon as possible and see if my mind has changed on it. So right now, that's my head.
I think off the top of my head, I think they loaded up the front and middle of the season with their best episodes, and they're ending off with a few mid ones in a row. Seems to be. It's like, all right, we got renewed. Let's think about next season and just get through the end of this one.
Yeah, because after that, I think it's Evan and then and then Lombard. Evan and Lombard. Yeah. So and those are actually fucking banger episodes. At least I hope they're still out when I rewatch them for the stream. So. Yeah, and that is the end of our show. So thank you very much, Admiral Teague. Thank you, J-Man, PB, Davey Dread, and anyone else. Let me scroll up. John the Beagle Dad. Chat's been a little bit slow, but it's still good to have people in talking bullshit, blah, 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 because, it keeps the chat going. And you always get some good insights from people as well. So whether you beautiful bastards are Northern English or not, thanks for watching. But right now, that's us done, and we're off to the pub. And enjoy the rest of your weekend, you beautiful bastards. Stay infidel, my friends. Stay infidel and proud.
We love you all.